right, this is SFBarkast. I am Jeff Cleary.
I am Andrew Louder.
And Andrew, where are we today?
We're at PlacePigale. I think that's the right pronunciation.
I call it PlacePigale.
PlacePigale? Good enough.
And
I think it's an area of Paris. I'm not sure though. Like it sounds vaguely familiar. Like wandering through the streets of Gay Paris, seeing that on a metro stop.
Well, if you're bullshitting me, you're in luck because I have like no information to refute anything that you've just said. So have at it.
Certainly based on like the clientele, the kind of drinks they serve, everything like that. There's nothing to indicate that we're in deep in the heart of the city of lights.
There's a lot of art on the wall, and I know those frogs. They like their art.
They do like that in the Louvre.
So this is in Hayes Valley.
It is.
And Hayes Valley, this is on Hayes between Octavia and Laguna?
Sure.
I'm going to say Laguna. Sure, why not?
It's definitely on Hayes. I know that much.
That's all the research I can be held accountable for.
For exact addresses, consult your internet.
And this place is just like a beer and wine bar.
Oh, okay.
But they've got really a big beer selection.
Yeah. It's sort of deceptively large inside, too. I mean, like, it goes back a long way.
That's true. Like,
opens out.
Sometimes you come into a bar in San Francisco and this is not a big bar for, like, Cheyenne, Wyoming.
No, certainly not.
But this is a huge bar for San Francisco.
Cheyenne, Wyoming is known for their big bars.
Oh, yeah. Laramie? Whatever.
You go to Sheridan, Wyoming, whoosh, Jesus Christ. It's an airplane hangar with a beer tap in it.
Yeah, but, space in San Francisco is very limited. So when you have a place like here that has, like, a fucking sunroof and an atrium in the back.
In back, which I never noticed because I don't think I've ever been here. In the daylight hours, now that the daylight savings time is upon us.
That's right.
There'll be a lot more sun-aided drinking going on.
I saw some people arguing whether we should keep daylight savings time or get rid of it.
Yeah, really well-educated white people without any other problems in their life are really fixated on daylight savings time and really angry about it.
I mean, you'd think that the economy's doing well if people can burn some calories on arguing about that shit.
Exactly.
I've got so much free time. I think I'll take on the hour of sleep I lose.
Yeah, I'll take on the Earth's axis and what it means to the sunlight.
So in Hayes Valley here, the neighborhood has totally changed. I had a girlfriend who lived in this neighborhood a while ago, and it was still like a rough neighborhood. I feel like the story is very, you hear the story over and over again in San Francisco.
Right.
Like Valencia Street used to be a drug corridor,
right.
And now
you used to get stabbed in the face just for showing up.
And now it's a corridor for dainty cupcakes.
Yeah, I noticed walking up here, it's not that I don't come to this area all the time. I mean, it's a popular area, so I've been here, but just seemingly in the last 2 years, the acceleration towards how much it's gentrified
it's incredible.
It's exponential
it's warp speed.
Yeah, it took because 10 years ago it seemed like this place was sort of becoming an alternative to the Castro or something like that, where it's okay, if you can't afford to live in the Castro, go live in the somewhat more suspect area of Hayes Valley.
It's going to be a little bit more shady, but you get to go to Marlena's, which is gone now.
Yeah, exactly. But now you would never know the difference between this and Pacific Heights. It's all sorority girls and like you say, dainty cupcake shops.
Yeah, when you walk down the street here, it's just all these well-to-do white couples.
Yeah.
Kind of with their baby strollers or having their sorority reunions or something like that.
Or waiting in line for a restaurant or, whatever you do when you're rich and white.
But you know what? I've had stuff stolen off my bike in this neighborhood. More than, I've had two lights stolen off my bike in this neighborhood, and that's more than any other neighborhood.
Well, it's not stealing, it's reclaiming.
Oh, they reclaim. This is a reclaimed bike light.
Yeah, exactly. There's a shop here that sells nothing but reclaimed bike equipment
from the mid 1800s. This reclaimed bike light.
Come, let us show you our sawed in half locks room.
So, also right where we are, this is like ground zero for like affluent like San Franciscans. But like 3 blocks north of here, there's still this huge housing project, and not too long ago, these like 3 guys got shot in a drive-by right over there. A drive-by. Doesn't that take you back?
I don't think I've ever heard the words drive-by said without motherfucking in front of it.
Right. I was like, what, are these guys still listening to NWA? And
That's right.
Ice-T's never going to go out of style. It's like,
are they confused? Maybe they just think that because this area is so hip that it has drive-bys now. Like,
maybe it's a retro thing. Retro drive-by.
There we go,
Yeah, remember the 1991?
Sorry, you guys are still doing muggings? We're doing drive-bys.
1991.
So, shout-out.
The greatest year where we had drive-bys and everybody was enthralled by the movie The Silence of the Lambs.
That's right. People enjoyed the vocal warblings of the band Bush.
And also, I don't know if our listeners can hear this, but like there is Irish music.
Yeah, you may hear just pittering away in the background, like probably what I'm guessing is 5 minutes worth of work, like going through the Spotify channels and just saying, play me everything Irish.
Well, I should like point out that today is like the San Francisco St. Patrick's Day celebration.
Right.
And it's not St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
So, but it's Saturday and people have the day off. And so now everybody's running around. Basically, everybody who's not going to go out and really celebrate St. Patrick's Day on St. Patrick's Day is doing it today.
True. This is like, I'm not used to seeing this necessarily. Like maybe I just haven't been in the city the weekend before St. Patrick's Day, but like I thought you're supposed to be kind of strict about that. Like if it's on Monday, you go out and drink on Monday, goddammit, and you come on Tuesday with a hangover. That's the way life works.
If you're really committed to this whole bullshit holiday,
This bullshit holiday,
you're not going to pass up an opportunity to get drunk twice. So a lot of people today's the St. Patrick's Day parade, so everybody jumps on their modified, pickup truck with like a harp on it,
right?
And then they go out and they drink. They like jig around in the street,
right?
And then on St. Patrick's Day they'll do the same thing, minus the parade.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, they'll still have the parade. It'll just be trespassing at that point.
Andrew? Do you religiously celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, I wouldn't say religiously, because that would mean I would actually believe in St. Patrick and whatever miracle he's supposed to. Like, was his miracle like changing like wine into beer, or like it's like Jesus took care of the water to wine part, and like I just kicked it over to beer.
And for my next trick, I will turn beer into urine.
That's right. I will turn this 2 a.m. cheesesteak into diarrhea.
So, I grew up Irish American.
Right.
And my family was very proud that we were Irish American.
Sure.
But like very many Irish American families from outside of Boston, and we had never been to Ireland.
Right.
But like we were like, yeah, we're Irish. Kiss me, I'm Irish. Fuck me, I'm Irish.
Well, I think Massachusetts certainly is going to be like ground zero for the United States for St. Patrick's Day. Like, it's like maybe parts of Chicago or something. But
it's like the only thing that like people from Boston and New York can agree upon. There's 2 things, like drinking in St. Patrick's Day and our love of Notre Dame football.
There's only 2 things we can agree on: the St. Patrick's Day parade and that the Puerto Ricans shouldn't have a parade.
And no gays in our parade.
Exactly.
Because there's no gay Irish people.
No, of course not.
You mentioned Chicago, and they have a tradition where they turn their river in Chicago green. Now, if you don't put too much thought into this, you think, well, that's nice.
Right.
It's a nice little tradition. But then you think about it, you're like, wait a minute, how the fuck do you change the color of a river?
Yeah, really.
And you know who doesn't like that? Fish.
Probably not. You're like, why does everything look green today?
I just don't understand. Like, I mean, there's got to be something polluting about that, right?
I would think so. I mean, I don't even know if there's any fish in that river. Like, is that? I don't even know if that river is natural. Like,
really?
Like, I mean, who knows? Like, I would think it is just because it's been there for so long. And like, but like, I don't know. Nowadays, with your CGI and everything, who knows what's real?
Isn't there's like a story about Chicago water rights, and
Sounds like a riveting story. Go ahead.
Exactly. Hold on. I can just hear
Quiet down, everybody. Quiet down.
I can just hear all our female listeners just moistening up.
Like, oh, I seem to have accidentally turned on Jugglepedia.
So, I guess like the story is that the river that comes out of like the lake there and goes through Chicago, that they tap that river for St. Louis's water supply as well.
Okay.
But the thing is, all the Chicago people were like dumping their waste into the river, and then it goes down, and then I guess St. Louis had to get it and purify it or whatever.
Right.
But there used to be all these signs in Chicago in the bathrooms that say like flush twice. St. Louis needs the water.
Great.
So the implication is like
St. Louis is drinking our piss.
You take a dump and St. Louis has to eat it.
I don't have a problem with that. Given the whole Ferguson ruling and all that stuff, like I'm cool with them having to eat shit and piss.
I mean, and maybe this is my perspective because like I don't have any skin in this game,
right.
But I always find like those rivalries between things I totally don't give a shit about to be like super cute. Where it's like, ooh, the Cardinals and the Cubs hate each other. I'm like, really? Wow, who cares?
I think like the best, or one of the best / worst examples of that was. And, like, I may have even brought this up at the Connecticut Yankee, but, like, I think it's Groton and, like, New London in, like, southeastern Connecticut. Like, they're, like, on either side of a river. And so, like, once a year they have some, like, stupid tradition where they, like, stand at the banks of the river and shout at each other. It's like, okay, we're all going to show up and yell.
Well, we showed Groton this year, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who takes pride in that? Like, and for what?
It's like they probably don't know anything about the Civil War, but like going to the side of a river and like mooning someone, like they know all about that.
Exactly. Shout out to Groton.
Shout out to Groton. Are you going to do anything for St. Patrick's Day this year?
I don't know. I mean, being on a Monday and all, I'll probably.
It's going to be on a Tuesday, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought today was the 15th. I don't know.
Well, let me tell you. No, today's the 14th. So it's going to be on Tuesday.
You're right, it is on Tuesday. Okay. Well, that changes everything. In that case, I'll probably sit home and do nothing.
We should have gone over this in the production meeting.
Don't bring up St. Patrick's Day. I don't have any plans.
Wasn't it like, I believe it was Dennis Leary who said, and like they're playing this Irish music here, and when you first walk into a place where they have Irish music, you're like, wow, that's kind of cool. It's cultural and whatever. Like 10 minutes into it, you're like, I'm going to murder someone. And Dennis Leary was the one who said, like, yeah, that fucking music makes you want to drink. That's why. Because you can't, be sober and listening to Irish music.
Right.
It'll just drive you mad.
It's like trying to watch baseball or something like that. Like, it's physically impossible.
And the thing is, like, all this Irish music, like, when I was in high school, I got really into Irish music. Like Hot House Flowers and the Waterboys. And,
sure. But, I mean, I consider a lot of that to be sort of like, 90s, 80, late 80s, 90s music anyway. Like it's not, like that stuff isn't like pure traditional Irish music or anything.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like, or even like U2 or something like that. And like my parents would never want to listen to anything like that. They just want to listen to stuff like this.
Like, oh God. Actually, I think my dad went through like a lot of like different world music trends or what, not trends, but like
say world music.
That's one I just remember like for a couple of years like he was listening to Irish folk music, and then he was listening to like Hawaiian folk music and like all this he's just like
Andrew, come here, check out this ukulele solo.
Exactly, it's like this is like the world's best bagpipe player. You be quiet.
This band's like the Yes of the Big Island.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer of fucking Maui.
What other world music is there? I mean, like, that's a very ignorant thing to say. It's like, well, there are other places in the world than Hawaii and Ireland.
Oh, I guess there's 256 countries or something?
So there's only like 3 types of world music, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. You got your ranchero, you got your mariachi, and then you got your Japanese gong music. Adam Carolla, he was saying that, like, when
women are pregnant and they play classical music for their kid in the womb.
Okay.
And it's supposed to make them smarter.
Yeah,
because
bullshit.
classical music makes you smarter. He said, if that's
somehow.
It's like, if that's true, then just by definition, there's got to be music that makes you stupider.
Exactly.
And he goes, and he thought that music is mariachi music.
It's hard to argue with that. I shouldn't say it's hard to argue with that because that almost immediately sounds racist. Where it's like,
it does.
Well, I guess Mexicans are the dumbest people, so
I like telling other people's racist jokes and not having to answer for it. So yeah.
So tell me another couple of Joe Gorman jokes.
So my parents, they were really into. I'm just glad my dad never tried to play traditional Irish music.
Yeah.
Because have you ever been hit in the head with a fife?
That's right. You ever had a what's that fucking hand crank fucking
squeeze box? I don't know.
Yeah, God, I can't remember it now, but I think Sting knows how to play one. But it's it's called the hurdy-gurdy.
Jesus.
Which is a wind-up fucking box that just makes a bad bagpipe sound.
That's the next thing, because I feel like
I bet there's 10 bands already that have a hurdy-gurdy player, playing Mumford & Sons bullshit.
Yeah, not just Mumford & Sons.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I can totally. I went to a bar the other day and they had a theremin trio.
Because they tried 2 theremins and they're like, needs more theremin.
Exactly. The producer's like, I really hit me with that theremin.
It's like, you guys know anybody else that plays the theremin? Because, man, 3 theremins would just be fucking take it over the top.
It was just a duo, and we just weren't going anywhere.
That's right. Everybody was like, yeah, 2 theremins? I've heard that. And so we couldn't break in. But then once we said 3 theremins, they were like, I'm listening.
2 theremins? That old chestnut?
That's right. I'll take you over to the 2 theremins club. You can see that kind of shit all night.
Get in line, double theremin. But I could totally see that, in a couple months.
Hurdy-gurdies?
Someone, yeah, exactly. The hurdy-gurdy trio, or
20 millennials on stage playing the hurdy-gurdy.
I have to look that up
because
that sounds like something you made up.
No, I think that's for
real.
A
hurdy-gurdy.
I think that's. I don't know if it's Irish or Scottish. I'm pretty sure it's Irish.
And whenever you see
it's literally it's like a wind up Jack in the Box with no clown that comes out of it.
Yeah. Whenever you see
the only clown is the person playing it
or listening. When you see a traditional Irish band,
right,
they all just look like they just walked out of the woods because that's where they make their instruments.
Right. They'll look like they just woke up with the most furious hangover ever, and they're trying to piece together who they beat up last night. Why are their teeth all over me hands?
I drink whiskey and make instruments out of fallen trees.
All right.
All right. You want to take a break?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. This is SFBarkast, and we're at PlacePigale.
PlacePigale.
PlacePigale. All right, and we are back at PlacePigale.
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 Let me clear my throat.
And I just stepped out during the break to grab a pint of water.
Okay.
And I was walking around this very Hayes Valley, and I saw a gentleman walking down the street with a tie-dye shirt on.
Ooh, what a throwback.
Not a weird thing to see in San Francisco. Maybe not in this neighborhood.
I was going to say, it's almost bound to be ironic in this neighborhood.
But here is the lead. Here's the kicker. The tie-dye design was made out, however he made that tie-dye shirt.
Magic eye?
What?
Was it like a magic eye thing, if you stared at it?
No, it was a tie-dye Pac-Man shirt.
Ooh.
Because you know how much Pac-Man loved 60s jam bands.
That's right. You know how Pac-Man was instrumental in the counterculture of the mid '60s.
A lot of people don't know this, but Tron was really into fish.
Man, I'm quitting college. I'm moving to San Francisco, and we're gonna play Pac-Man. It's fuck you, Mom and Dad.
Ooh, no son of mine will be playing Pac-Man in San Francisco.
You're moving to San Francisco with all those hippy-dippy flower children and playing your Pac-Man.
There's some local comic does a bit about how he read a story about there's a growing number of young like teenagers who are gay but very conservative.
Okay, so like sort of like log cabin Republicans or whatever.
Yeah, but like they're teenagers. So like their big thing is, yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to wait to have sex.
Log studio apartment Republicans or something, I guess.
Like, I'm going to wait to have sex until I'm married.
Right.
And they're like, wait. No gay son of mine is going to wait until he gets married to have sex. You go down to that bus stop and you pick someone out.
You sign up for Grindr and get fucking right now.
It's like you don't even know what a glory hole is.
Look at this guy. He's like 2 blocks away. He wants to suck your dick.
He's just waiting for you. Are you man enough to blow him?
I know him. He's married and has kids. But yeah, come on, like, let the guy blow his load in your mouth.
Oh, whoa, too far, man.
You're like, hey, wait, you took an adorable comic bit about
a gay teenager blowing some guy in a men's room.
You made it gross.
So I was like just looking at, maybe this is like a slow news week or something because
we're talking about guys blowing loads in teenagers' mouths.
Well, this is kind of pertains to that.
Okay, go on.
But I was looking at like the big stories this week on like social media, and like one right at the top is like they performed the first successful penis transplant.
Really? Okay, well, I guess my first question is define successful. Because that's kind of a word that like can mean a lot of different things. Like, yeah, successful in that he didn't die, or
I mean, I didn't even read the article. I just saw the headline, and I was like,
couldn't stop looking at the pictures.
It was a graphic novel.
So I read the article. I ruined it.
But maybe I don't know the specifics of the case. Like, you know, if he had 0 penis. Or if he was like, hey, I don't like this penis. I want another one.
Well, I mean, or it could be like, this one's diseased and is going to kill you. I'm not sure how that works exactly.
This one, I've already used this one too much.
I don't like the color.
It's about to fall off on its own.
I think it got a virus.
But, so I mean, hooray for the doctor that performed the successful surgery, right? Because like now he goes down in the annals of history.
But the annals of history.
But you know that before the operation, there had to be this conversation where like the patient
We've never done this successfully before, you know.
Where the patient is like, hey, you know what, doc? Ordinarily I wouldn't seek this out, but since you're gonna give me a new penis, can we make sure it's bigger than average?
That's right. Like, I gotta look at the one you're thinking of putting on there, and like, it's kind of insulting, really. I mean, like, you know, like
generally speaking, I wouldn't like seek this out, but since you have my junk up on blocks already,
like, normally I'm not like the kind of person that likes to buy all the add-ons, you know, like the undercoating and all that stuff. But in this case, go ahead and like put the Ferrari in the garage.
Exactly. I'm gonna check all these boxes.
That's great.
Like, yeah. So, I mean, because like, you know, he said like, hey, look, doc, even if it's successful, and if I look down and I've got a small penis, I'm murdering you. It ain't successful.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it would be great if like in order to make it successful, it had to be like fucking tiny, right? And so like, then like this guy's worst nightmare comes true, where it's like he's on the cover of all these medical journals, like with big arrows pointing at his micro dick, saying like success. And like he's like, no, it's not a success.
The doctor's like, yeah, it works. And the guy's like, who cares?
It's like, great. Works for what? Works for who exactly?
And of course, like I said, I didn't read the article, but my other question would be...
You know, it's much better if you don't read the article. We get a lot more comedy out of it the more ignorant we are.
But also, like, my question would be, who is a penis donor?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Like, was it...
Is there a penis, like, wait list?
Well, or is this, like, off of a cadaver? Because that's kind of gross. Like, and then... Is it going to be like what was that? Wasn't there a movie where like a guy got like like a hand transplant and the hand started killing people or something. Like, yeah. So what if
you get like Citizen Kane?
What if you get like a dick transplant from a mass murderer, and now your dick wants to kill everybody?
Wasn't there was some TV movie?
This has to have been made already. I can't be the first person to come up with dick transplant killer.
It's got a mind of its own. Wasn't there like a TV movie about a old Jewish man who was?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yes. Good night, everyone. It was an old Jewish man.
It's called Marathon Man.
Who got a heart transplant, but the donor was like this Nazi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ooh, there. And there's the twist. There's the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong twist.
Say the Shyamalan-esque twist is that it's 9/11 for this guy's dick.
Well, like that would be, but like the whole like twist of that is so stupid because it'd be like, yeah, well, what if the heart takes over and he starts hating like his own people? It's like that doesn't work that way, people.
Yeah, like the kind of hatred it takes to like murder 6,000 Jews, like usually isn't one that can be just implanted with a
Doc,
a new heart.
Don't give me a racist heart. Let me tell you.
That's right. Like, I've spent my whole life trying to avoid being racist, and then you put this racist heart in me, and now I can't control it.
Wasn't that a Paul Westerberg song from the movie Singles, Racist Heart?
I think so. That's from the racist version of Singles before they edited out all of the uses of the N-word.
Let's touch upon a couple other things, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back with the Spore Report.
Ooh, sounds fun. Sounds fun, listener.
So
wish I were you, guy listening to the show.
Getting ready for the sports report, I was watching some
pre-sport report.
I was watching some college basketball, and then they said that the new host of the Late Late Show on CBS is some guy named James Cordone.
Yeah.
And so my question to you, Andrew, is who the fuck is James Cordone?
Well, as anybody would know, he was, and I have not seen this movie, but he was in.
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, like, were you about to say, like, oh, if you haven't seen it, it's probably been nominated for an Academy Award.
What you haven't seen could fill Dodger Stadium.
No, I think he was in the Into the Woods movie. So he is a.
So I would like to repeat my question. Who the fuck is
that? He, I don't know. He looks vaguely like Andy Richter, and I don't know. It seems like a happy, rotund Broadway singing guy from England.
So he's like a Nathan Lane singing kind of guy. This sounds like really annoying.
You know what? I don't think he's that Broadway-ish. I think he's it may be their sort of attempt to replicate John Oliver or something like that. Where like
maybe a cross between Nathan Lane and Eddie Izzard.
Could be.
Throwing in a few pounds there.
Throwing.
Is there like we've talked about this before? Is there like a go-to funny fat man right now in the world?
Is there? Oh, is there a funny fat man?
Yeah.
I mean, like I think there's a few, but like.
Well, you know,
but I'm not sure if they're
Chris
on
Farley.
the scale. And there's Chris Farley.
Chris Farley's gone, and remember, like Horatio Sands was it for a while, and he lost
still around.
He lost a lot of weight though.
Yeah, so he's not like as fat.
So fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. That's a good question. Like,
thank you.
What's his name? Who's the guy who's on Saturday Night Live right now? That is.
The guy who
on Chosen.
Chosen.
Chozen.
Oh yes. Bobby Moynihan.
Bobby Moynihan. There we go. Thank you very much.
Who? And what about the other dude who was on Nickelodeon, who was on Saturday Night Live?
Kenan Thompson.
Kenan Thompson. Yeah.
Right. And then also like there's two guys that are essentially playing the same role and sort of seem to come through like New York, and like one of them is on the Fox show Mulaney.
Okay.
With John Mulaney. And I can't remember that guy's name, Zach something or other, but he's got like a red beard and like red curly hair, and he's kind of rotund. But then there's also like the same exact character pretty much is on the show Marry Me with Dan Marino and Casey Wilson, and that's John Gemberling.
Is he the guy? One of those guys, I think, made a name for themselves in the Broadway show, The Book of Mormon.
Oh, that is. oh shit, what is that guy's name? Zach something? He was on the Daily Show for like a week.
Yes.
Like it was like the same kind of situations like Michael Che had, where it's like they put him on as a correspondent, and then like 2 days later they're like, oh, by the way, like you're getting a much better job.
It's
like
true.
What the hell is that guy's name? It's something short and simple, like Zach Braff or Zach Johnson or.
Okay, well, so we have not determined who James Corden is, but what about what is the latest and who's going to get Jon Stewart's show?
That's still a good question. Yeah, like I don't know if
there's a lot of false articles out there. One that said Samantha Bee's got it.
Yeah, but that's she's since signed with TBS. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank God.
But thank God. I don't dislike her as much as you do, but like I also I'm not 100% on board with the Larry Wilmore show either. Like I think I like him a lot, but I'm just not sure if it's as strongly written or has like a different enough point of view.
Okay.
I actually thought Kamau Bell's show was better.
Oh, really?
Like yeah, I mean like not that they're in direct competition with each other, but they sort of are. I mean in the fact that they both approach like news comedy from a black perspective.
Okay, yeah.
Like so, not trying to be racist, but I just am. It just works out that way all of the time.
And like this is like something that I'm going to rely on you for because, like I said, I no longer have television.
So you haven't have you worked out a sort of workaround system, like a freeloader system, if you will?
Yeah, this is my workaround system. Don't watch it. I watched like the Daily Show for the first time in like months yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, but I was like, I don't really miss this. I mean,
you know what it is? It's funny how I almost feel like because like my current sort of not paying for a ton of cable channels, situation was mostly sort of formed by not having a job anymore and like wanting to like cut costs.
It wasn't a choice.
But like I have a job now, so I could go back to like cable or satellite, but I'm just like trying to write it out and see if it's worth it, and like it really isn't.
I know there's a lot of people out there who are like, Jeff, big deal. You haven't had cable for 3 months. Like, I haven't had cable in 8 years.
I haven't eaten in 6 months.
But it's totally different, okay?
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
I used to watch a appalling amount of television.
Right.
And actually, I feel better. Like, I feel like it's just like not having something on, like, there.
Right.
Like, in the background, like, is better for me.
Yeah, totally. Well, I feel like...
also, I'm saving $1,500 a year from, like...
That's pretty good.
Not playing for DirecTV.
Right. Like, no, that's I don't like anymore. It seems like the person that's paying like $300 a month for like their cable internet package and like that person is a dinosaur. That person is a fool.
Yeah,
like,
but there's a lot of old people who are like that.
Than common sense.
You know what? One of the reasons why it was like placed in my head. I don't know if I said this before, but it was like the whole idea of getting rid of cable was actually came to me through a cable show, and that was Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And it was an episode where...
It was truly bringing down the system from within.
It was an episode where Shake was trying to figure out how to get free. He was going to, split the cable line from Carl, his next-door neighbor.
Yeah.
And he realized that Carl had already split his neighbor's, line.
Right.
And... And Carl gets like all these like channels, and Shake is just like, "What? So you don't have to pay anything?" And Carl just says, "Yeah, only." He looks at the camera and just goes, "Only an idiot pays for television."
Well, I remember. I mean, like this is probably there's not even like a statute of limitations in effect for this anymore. But like at NYU, like in the dorm building that I lived in, we were able to like. Basically just like cut the lock off of the cable box in the stairwell and like give the entire building cable for free. and you couldn't possibly get away with that today. Like it's an entire building and like somebody just wasn't checking it or didn't care. And like, next thing you know, everyone's watching the Robin Bird at NYU.
And like you said, there are so many workarounds, whether it's BitTorrent or if you want to there's plenty of people out there who will just give you their HBO Go password. and or you can like Hulu Plus or I have Amazon
Right.
Prime because I have an Amazon credit card.
Yeah.
So there are ways around, and there's plenty of entertainment out there that you don't have to pay $115 for every.
You would think that they would give you Amazon Prime just for like owning a certain amount of stock or something.
I know.
It'd be like,
If Amazon's listening, come on, step up.
shareholder here.
Shareholder.
You got to make me happy.
But and also one of our listeners got in touch with me and said, "Hey Jeff, I tried your little BitTorrent thing, and suddenly I'm getting these letters from Verizon telling me to knock it off." And he's like, "What do I do?" And I said, "Listen, Steve Henry,
Stop listening to me.
first off, this is not an advice column. Otherwise, if it was, that whole like penis transplant thing would have had a different tone."
I would just like to, I know we're probably coming up on a break here.
Right.
But I would like to point out in a slightly hushed voice that there are two gentlemen. First of all, during the last segment,
Gentlemen.
If you noticed that you were trying to listen to the Irish music, but instead heard nothing but the constant yapping of sorority cunts.
Whoa.
Then I will say that that's because the entire group of them sat down right next to us. They have since left, but they've been replaced by, there are two guys, each wearing a shirt with half of a pot leaf on it. And one shirt says best, and the other shirt says buds.
Is that like one of the,
That's
is
the
that the
greatest thing I've ever
21st century, like, I'm with stupid?
I think it's the 21st century John 3:16 guy in a rainbow wig.
Yeah, you know what? Like, St. Patrick's Day really brings out the sort of,
Super gay potheads.
well, it's like walking around.
No offense, sir.
There's like people like all wearing like,
I did say super.
you know those big like oversized fluffy like soccer top hats?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I saw
Which would be required for all people if I ran the world.
right. It's like during like the World Cup, they're decorated in whatever their favorite country's colors are. For St. Patrick's Day, there's like plenty of people wearing those out there, wearing like, I don't know, green everywhere, and just thinking, "Yep, I'm making the scene." All I have to do is get a little bit drunker.
I just think it's amazing that like on a day that's not St. Patrick's Day, you would go to that length for a parade that is basically attended by children mostly. And so you just want San Francisco's children to see you shithouse drunk.
Why not, like, I don't know, if you're going to the St. Patrick's Day parade, why don't you just, I don't know, go dressed as a priest and just pick up kids? I don't know.
See, now I'm beginning to understand why it was bad advice to listen to us.
All right, so before we take a break, I want to say, if you are going to BitTorrent stuff, make sure you have what's it called, a VPN?
Or something like that.
Or something that encrypts all your information.
You have to just be smart about it. Like, don't,
There's also something called, I think it's called the Tor Project, which you can use TOR. And if you sign up for that, like, it basically, they can't track you.
Yeah. Like, I found BitTorrent or just torrenting in general to be problematic in that way. And so...
Not me.
Yeah, like there's a couple sites that if you snoop around you can find them, but they're sort of like these streaming uploadable website hubs that are really handy for that. And like I don't know, email me personally if you want to know. But like otherwise, like I've had great success with that. But like even though it's you sort of have to keep on top of like who's getting closed down or like. Where the heat is.
Yeah.
But like other than that, like
I use a torrent search engine, and there's like two torrents that like I never seem to have any problem with. Yeah, like Pirate Bay has been like shut down, and I think it's back up now.
Oh, it is. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but
cool. I never use Pirate Bay.
I did
Only an
every
idiot
once in a while.
uses Pirate Bay.
Exactly. And if there's any lesson to take away from this show, it's only an idiot.
Okay.
Uses Pirate Bay.
We're done with the advice part of the show. Are you ready to take a break?
Terrible advice. Yes, definitely.
All right, this is SFBarkast, and we'll be back from Hayes Valley.
PlacePigale.
All right, and we are back in Hayes Valley.
At PlacePigale.
I'm just going to look at you to pronounce it.
You're going to be like, spaghetti place?
Like, these are like, at the Oscars, everybody's making fun of John Travolta for butchering someone's name the year before.
Adina Menzel or whatever.
But, now I feel his pain. I'm just like, yeah, play spaghetti.
Well, but at least with this place, you can't, awkwardly fondle its chin and face, like on national television.
That's true. One of my only criticisms of this bar, I actually do like this bar, like hanging out here, especially now. There's a lot of light in here, and it's like you said, a lot of space. They have couches in the back and a pool table. One of my only criticisms of the bar is that it's one of these bars that only has one bathroom, one unisex bathroom.
Right.
So, it's not that crowded right now, but
No.
there are a lot of people who are just got off the St. Patrick's Day parade. So there's a lot of people trying to use the one bathroom. And my only advice to people is if you are in a bar where there's only one bathroom, don't take the magazines into the bathroom with you, or at least hurry it up.
Right.
Because I think I just
finish your book later.
I think I just waited 20 minutes for two people to get out of the bathroom.
Right.
And it's listen, I have no idea. When that girl got out of the bathroom, I just wanted to be hey, cocaine's fun. I know. But I could have taken care of. I could have done cocaine, probably taken a dump, and read the fucking Old Testament in the time she was in there.
Right.
Jeez.
Lesson learned.
And that was the Larry David part of the show. He's like, hey, what are you doing in there?
What's wrong with you? You're shitting in a public place.
So there's that. And
so there's that.
So let's go on to something better. You ready for a little sports report?
Sure.
So the college basketball tournament is coming up. Do you have any predictions?
Boy, more so than almost any other college basketball season. I just feel and maybe this comes from ignorance and not watching enough of it, but
maybe.
But it certainly seems like there's one favorite, Kentucky, and everyone else is playing for second place.
I am actually going to go to Reno for the college basketball tournament, and I'm very excited to do that, even though I haven't been following college basketball that much.
It may be the first time that the words excited in Reno have ever been used in the same sentence.
Yeah, well, I've been to Vegas for the college basketball tournament, and Vegas,
you've done the best. Now do the rest.
Now I'll try the rest.
Okay.
Although I'm kind of excited about it because, when you go to Vegas, there's everybody, there are some nights you go out on wherever you live, and you're like, you know what? I'm not going large tonight. I'm not going to star in this night.
Yeah.
But in Vegas, there's all these groups of people who are we're going to make the scene. It's a city of bachelor parties. So it's just this competition for people to fucking get more debaucherous.
Right. No, I'm the loudest asshole.
Yeah, and it's super annoying.
Right.
But I feel in Reno, it's a lot less. It's not going to be like that. It'll be
at the very least. The people will be older and easier to push out of the way or shout over.
What I'm saying is, I can beat everybody up in Reno.
It's all about me in Reno.
I was I don't like other people trying to act like they're number one.
when clearly I am number one.
So I'm excited because maybe it'll just be a little bit more down tempo. It won't be so fucking crazy out of control. And
my brother works and lives in Reno with his.
What's that?
My brother lives in Reno with his wife, and actually I think both of his kids live in Reno now.
Oh, it's great. Do they have a meth farm?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So you don't grow meth, do you?
They inspired by Breaking Bad, they've gone with green meth. So this is actually their biggest sales weekend of the year. Will be St. Patrick's Day.
Basically, I'm just going to Reno so I can go to the sports book and print money.
Exactly.
And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to basically take Kentucky and Louisville to cover the spread and parlay that with the next best game every day.
Right.
Because when I was in Vegas for the tournament, a few years ago, you were there.
Yeah.
Louisville was a great team.
Andrew Lauder was there, friend of the show.
Maybe he'll call in someday. Louisville was a great team to take because not only were they good, but their coach, Rick Pitino, is a fucking asshole. And he's like one of these guys who never takes his foot off the gas. So if it's like a 22-point spread, he's going to win by 30.
Right. Even if he has to kill his players to do it.
He doesn't care if it's some
but we're up by 20, coach. Fuck you, the spread is 22.
He doesn't care if it's some vocational night school team he's playing against.
Well, and like that's another team that like I feel like I saw somewhat recently, and it was just horrifying, like how like ridiculously NBA ready like everyone on the entire team. I mean, like it's like I can't tell if like people coming out of school are just like so much more like or trained better, or like just like work out all year, or what it is, but like it's crazy, like the shape that like freshmen in college are in now. Like,
well, you know what really sucks though is like a long time ago, basically college basketball like fell into being the training ground for the NBA.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we have to now people are like complaining that like college basketball isn't as good as it used to be because of the one and dones. Like really good players go to like school for 1 year and then they go to the NBA.
Right.
But it's like a lot of these kids are like, look, me pretending to be a student athlete, it's not like like who are we kidding here?
Right.
And it's like I'm not saying that as a disparaging way. A lot of these guys, someone like Derrick Rose who went to Memphis, he was like, yeah, like I'm not like a college guy. Like I want to play basketball and I'm really, really good at it. But like because of the structure that exists, I have to pretend to be a student athlete for 1 year before I can go get paid millions of dollars.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So I feel like a lot of like the Louisville guys are like that as well, where it's like, like we're all NBA ready, but
right. Like at least like I guess.
Baseball and hockey don't have this problem.
Yeah.
Because they have farm systems.
Right, yeah. Like if you want to go to college, you can go to college and play hockey or baseball, but like you could also just go play in the minors. Like you don't have to like
and football and basketball, like it happened a long time ago, but they don't have farm systems. So
right, yeah. It's weird that like it. I mean, I guess like football almost it almost makes sense because like careers are so short and everything like that. Like you don't want to like
and you get like
take
seriously,
like you don't want to take like the earning years away from like your players, but at the same time, like like basketball, like they're trying to sort of like turn the D League into a minor league with some success, but at the same time, it's just like they definitely have to screw with it some more because the current system's really.
Well, there
wasn't that great.
Was it Jennings, the guy who plays for Milwaukee, or he used to play for Milwaukee?
Oh, Keith Jennings,
Keith Jennings. He was a top prospect coming out of high school, and instead of like doing the college basketball thing and pretending that he was going to like be a student athlete, he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going to Greece."
Yeah.
So he went to Greece as like a 17-year-old, and like made some money over there. And then like came back and like joined the NBA, and I feel like a lot of I don't know if that's going to be a trend, but I feel like it's going to be an option pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly like God, like if I were in that position and I didn't feel like going to school necessarily, like and it's not even going to school.
You make a lot of money.
Yeah, like you're pretending to go to school when you're basically like tell me which classes to go to. They'll pass me. Blah blah blah. Like it's not really school.
Although then you do have to like do the math and figure out: am I going to make more money in Europe or am I going to make more money at Kentucky?
Exactly. Like he is like that Rick Pitino guy. Like he seems kind of shady, but he is waving $1 million in my face.
Right. Yeah. So there was like this one. I think it was Lithuania. I can't remember his name. He was like a big guy who played for like the Timberwolves.
Right.
And I think he was like Lithuanian or Estonian or something like that. And
the guy that looks like the big tall guy from Superman 3 that could like laser things.
Richard Kiel? Oh no,
not Richard. He looks sort of like Richard Kiel.
Not Dick Kiel. But they asked this guy who was Eastern European if he watches. It was during the college basketball tournament. They asked him if he had like a favorite college basketball team, and he just said, "In my country, universities for education."
Like, oh, excuse me.
In my country, basketball plays you.
We also heard that in your country, the fishes have 3 eyes, and like most of it's unlivable because of radiation.
And how about this? Are you excited for baseball to come?
Maybe a little. Like, I mean, I'm by default a Mariners fan, and like they're supposed to have a decent squad this year. But I don't know. At the same time, that's sort of the story every year. That every team tries to make it sound like they have a chance at the beginning of the year, and like usually like a few weeks in, you're like, oh yeah, they're not going to be that good.
You know, spring training is when hope springs eternal, because I saw in Sports Illustrated there was a big article about Joe Madden like restoring the Cubs.
Oh, the same way Dusty Baker did.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, like this is the time of the year where it's like nobody is in last place, so everybody's got a shot, right? And actually, like, I do get a little excited. I listened to a Red Sox podcast the other day just to sort of like bring me up to speed, because I couldn't even tell you who their like 4 or 5 man rotation was. And I got a little excited for it. But like I've said this before, the baseball season is such a monster.
Yeah,
that
so
like
fucking long.
Now it kind of feels like it's new.
Yeah.
Ooh, baseball's coming, right? Ooh, won't that be fun?
Like by August, it's going to be like, oh, is this ever going to end?
No, but like before the All-Star break, I'm just like, this shit again?
Right.
Oh, no, whenever like
didn't we already play like the fucking Blue Jays 50 times already?
Whenever the NBA Finals is over, that's when you just go. So that's somewhere in like July.
Right.
That's when you just go, oh, shit. There's no football. There's no basketball. Right. There's only baseball.
Like, I heard some talk that they're thinking about reducing the length of the basketball season, which would I would be totally on board with that.
I'd be on board with that as well.
I mean, like, and their reasoning is pretty sound, because like there's just like players are getting injured. All the big fucking superstars are like injured now because there's so many goddamn games between Well,
you know what? I think
season and the playoffs.
This is what they should do: is they should reduce the number of games they play in the NBA season. But like, it doesn't have to be. They don't have to actually shorten the length of the season. You just don't have like back-to-back games. And like you just like space it out. There's plenty of teams to play, and if you just like schedule it out better, like you can. They play 82 games now.
Right.
So like you can get down to 70 games and have the season be the exact same.
They need to go back to like best of 5 for the first round too. It's fucking tedious to have like 3 best of 7s like back to back to back. Like it's like a war of attrition at this point. Like by the time like the finals take place, it's like the teams are like half beaten up and like it's like it's only and it's causing like the whole sort of Greg Popovich like I'm going to rest all my players half the time thing.
Yeah.
Like they're causing that, and it's like it just makes the game boring because like half the night you're watching like scrubs.
Well, people were criticizing him for sitting his players, and then his attitude was like, I don't give a fuck, and then they went out and won the championship. So like he's basically like, yeah, fuck you all.
Yeah, exactly. Like
like where's my incentive to not rest my older players? What, because Tony Kornheiser doesn't want him to? By the way, that's one thing, not having television, that I do not miss, like seeing Kornheiser and Wilbon's face.
You can always listen to the podcast, though. That's the great thing about podcasts. You don't have to look at the stupid face of the people that are talking.
One of the things I'll say about spring training, one weird story that came out, Pablo Sandoval, who now plays for the Red Sox, played for the Giants last year. Like, he got to Red Sox spring training and just started.
Does he weigh like 800 pounds?
Well, he's in typical form, which means he's 40 pounds overweight.
Right.
But he got to the Red Sox spring training and he started like bad-mouthing like the Giants. And like he won. What did he win? Like 2 or was he on that first Giants?
He may have been.
He may have won at least 3 championships 2, here, because I know
3,
at least 2.
Yeah.
And then, I guess his whole thing is he felt disrespected by the organization, and they disrespected his agent. And
disrespected his agent. Oh my God, his agent.
Oh, heaven forfend.
Right.
But then he said it wasn't any problem leaving San Francisco because he felt like he wasn't welcome here anyway. And then like yesterday, former Giants player Aubrey Huff started criticizing him in the social media. And he said, "Oh yeah, his only problem is they wanted him on a treadmill, and they wanted him to lose some weight, and he just wasn't willing to do it."
Right.
And then this morning, Sandoval shot back and said, "Who is Aubrey Huff?" He's like, and he said, like, just look at where he is right now, and look where I am. And like Aubrey Huff is like, he's like a high school baseball coach. But like Aubrey Huff, his whole like take was that like he's saying stuff for like all the players on the Giants who don't want to engage in this. So he's like, Aubrey Huff, he'll fall on the sword at his fucking like prep academy. But my take on that is like there's not a real like good guy in this like fight.
Yeah.
But Aubrey Huff, like you're basically saying your criticism of Sandoval is like, well, he's fat. Right. And they didn't want him. They wanted him on a treadmill, and he wasn't willing to do that. But guess what? Aubrey Huff, towards the end of his career, he couldn't like play because he had vertigo.
Really?
Right? And like, I am not criticizing anybody who has any like mental illness.
Yeah.
Like, but if you're on the side of the Grand Canyon or you're in the fucking Sears Tower at like that, like, and you get a little vertigo. Or you're climbing up like a bell tower in some like mission, like California mission, you get some vertigo. That's totally fine. But it's like if you get vertigo when you're stepping in a batter's box at sea level, then like something's going on here.
Right.
So like I mean, don't talk about other people's conditioning when you can't even stand in the batter's box and swing a bat at a ball. One more thing, you want to hit the NFL? NFL, plenty of like. Free agent signings.
Oh yeah,
your beloved
bananas.
Your beloved Seahawks got infinitely stronger by picking up Jimmy Graham.
Did you get Jimmy Graham? That was good pickup. Unexpected. I didn't know that.
I can't. You know what? Russell Wilson is going to love throwing at that guy.
Yeah, totally.
Like I mean, he's bigger than everybody. All you got to do is throw the ball high, and he'll catch it.
Yeah.
Don't throw it to Malcolm Butler. Also, but. Supposedly, my Patriots got a little weaker because we got rid of Vince Wilfork. We got rid of
Ben Vereen.
Oh yeah, Shane Vereen,
10-speed and brown shoe.
And they got rid of. They didn't re-sign Revis.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he went back to the Jets, right?
Although Revis is like, he signed with the Jets for a huge contract, which basically means Revis is out of the league.
Yeah.
He plays for the Jets, and. But like I guess they signed a bunch of other guys, a bunch of younger. I think the Patriots are trying to get younger because
They'll
signed.
Be fine. Like
yeah, exactly. Like, nobody's going to shed any tears for the Patriots.
Yeah. But like certainly like I feel like the most active team has been the Eagles. Like they kind of like turned over the whole team like in a couple weeks. Like
what an incredible like turn of events for the Eagles.
Yeah,
and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I cannot. You know what a huge mutiny it is for DeMarco Murray to leave the Cowboys to go to the Eagles?
Oh, yeah.
Like that, I don't have any skin. I don't have a horse in this race, but that NFC East, those four teams fucking hate each other. Like, and it's like a rivalry that rival, like all four of them. Those rivalries are as good as any other rivalry in sports.
Right. Well, I didn't know that Bradford and Murray were like college buddies.
Yeah,
they just went out and picked both of them out. They're like, we'll just like pluck one out of St. Louis and one out of Dallas.
Getting DeMarco Murray is going to be great for the Eagles. I'm not sold on Bradford.
Yeah, well, I mean, he hasn't really done anything so far. Like,
you know what? Like,
pretty injury prone.
You know what's happening there? It's like Chip Kelly took over 2 years ago, and he just basically he wants to put his stamp on everything. And Foles wasn't his guy. And so it's like like when a tiger takes over like a group of tiger or a lion takes over a pride of lions, you eat the cubs that aren't yours.
Right.
It's like you're like, oh, I got to get rid of Nick Foles because fuck him, I didn't pick him.
Right.
So and you know what, and Eagles fans totally schizophrenic now because they spent the last probably 4 years just hating DeMarco Murray. And now they got to let him bring him in, and they got rid of Shady McCoy and Deshaun Jackson and what was the other idiot?
The other idiot, Michael Vick.
Anyway, So it'll be like really interesting to see what happens. Although somebody pointed out that the teams, like historically, the teams that are very active in free agency don't do well.
Yeah.
There was that year that like
the Redskins went nuts. I mean, the Redskins go nuts every year, and it never pans out. So they like blow the curve for everybody.
I mean, like these teams this year have gone like way farther than any teams in the past. But remember when like the Eagles had put together that like team, and Vince Young was the backup quarterback, and he was like, "Yeah, this is like a dream team." And then I think they finished like last in the division. It's like, yeah, it's a nightmare team. Like, I mean, officially, nightmares are dreams, so it was probably true. Like, it's a dream team.
Right.
All right, are you ready to take a break?
Sure.
All right, this is SFBarkast, and we are in Hayes Valley.
At PlacePigale.
And we'll be back. All right, and we are back.
At PlacePigale.
PlacePigale. You're so international when you say that.
Oui, monsieur.
In the Hayes Valley. You have
The
anything
Hayes Valley.
Anything else to say about the Hayes Valley?
Boy, I mean, like, really, it's rough going here. Like, there was a period of maybe 6 or 7 years where I thought this was a pretty desirable place to live. Like, because it did have sort of like a little bit of a rough edge, but then like really good restaurants around, like some fun bars, like whatever. So it was, and it had that sort of like alternate Castro kind of vibe going. Now it's just a fucking mess.
I like how
it's just like the most gentrified you can get.
I like how you're saying that when it was kind of like edgy and like maybe a little
like white people edgy, not super edgy. Like.
Yeah, but it's like then it was kind of desirable. But then once everybody realized it was desirable, you're like, fuck this.
Well, once there's no, like it does to a certain extent sort of just like sap the character out of the neighborhood. Like the more that everybody is exactly the same, like then you just walk around and you're like, ugh, this is like like I could wander around the Duke College campus and see this.
Dude, I was at the Page this week, and I swear I walked in and I was like, did the fucking Google bus just drop off? Because I know it goes down to Divisadero. So I mean that is something that just happens a lot now.
Yeah.
Do we have any plugs before we get to our final analysis?
Sure. Let's see. I wouldn't say plugs. I mean, I'm just gonna like list some things that I've seen.
Okay, like trees and sky.
Trees and sky. I will say that I saw the movie John Wick. I can't remember if I discussed this last week, but it was terrible.
No, it was terrible?
It was awful. I know a lot of people liked it.
Doug Benson loved it.
It's it was like watching like a modern video game.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, well, but it was just like there was so much like blood spray from the back of the head. I think I did talk about this last week because we were talking about stuntmen and directing it and stuff. But I could be wrong. But anyway, that sucked. I might be approaching not being out on Better Call Saul. I'm only about 4 episodes in, but I'm losing interest fast.
Yeah, I think I heard that they had like a drop off in viewership.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I was watching it last night, and I really liked the. There was one episode dedicated to Mike.
Yeah.
And like if you're a huge fan, especially like I'm not a huge I don't know Breaking Bad religiously, like some people know like Star Trek or anything.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you were one of those people, it would be a fantastic show for you because there's so many characters that you thought, oh, I'm never going to see that character again in Breaking Bad, and they show up again in Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that part is kind of fun, but like the sort of overall like machinations of the plot and Saul being the main character. I love Bob Odenkirk. I think he's great. But like at the same time, like it's such a there's not like there's not dimensions to the character that like I think are necessary to like carry a show. And plus there's not a side of him that's super likable. Like that character is pretty awful for the most part, and most of the characters in that show are pretty awful. So there's not really like I feel like. The reason that like Aaron Paul and like
Bryan Cranston
worked so well together was that they sort of like that show sort of like fluidly switched between like sort of rooting for one character to the other.
Yeah.
Like pretty, to where you had like a guy that you had sort of a rooting interest in based on like personality more than anything else. But like, I feel like this show doesn't have that yet. There's like no one to root for.
So if what I'm
like
hearing,
screaming over reggae music, it feels so weird. Like,
so what I'm hearing from you is you're saying fuck Bob Odenkirk.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Saying nice try, Odenkirk.
I think they heard you. They turned down the reggae music, or maybe that's just how reggae music ends. I don't know.
It could be like,
yeah, that's how every reggae song ends. Someone like
screams, "I'm shouting! Will you shut up?"
Somebody just hits the power button on the on the amplifiers.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody goes, "Will you please leave, you stoned individual?"
Let's see. Some plugs from me. I definitely. It's kind of a plug, kind of like a appreciation. Reno, the Reno hotels are really cheap.
Well,
you can stay at like a 3-star hotel for like $29 a night in Reno.
And I can't wait for the podcast next week where you tell us why.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You're like, well, roaches are the that's the best part.
If you go to Vegas or any city, and you know what, a $29 hotel will get you.
A punch in the mouth and thrown into a garbage compactor.
One of my plugs, I will say, I re-listened to the WTF with Sam Simon.
Oh, yeah.
The late Sam Simon. And
R.I.P. Sam Simon.
He was promoting, because, he's a huge animal lover.
Yeah.
He was promoting what people call Meatless Mondays. And, like, I am a carnivore.
Right.
But I am also an animal lover, so like it's a huge dilemma for me going back and forth.
Seems like a good a good partial way to do it. Like,
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna like take on Meatless Mondays.
Nice.
And another plug. Very conversely, if you ever go to Rosamond on Tuesdays, they have cheeseburgers there. And the cheeseburgers at Rosamond on Tuesday are like probably the best burgers I've had in SF, and they only do it on Tuesdays.
Now you're like really treading on Drew Harmon territory, where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna like review hamburgers as well. So
wake up, Drew Harmon. He's not listening because we were talking about sports.
You're no longer the only burger review game in town, Harmon.
So rest in peace, Sam Simon. And you have another. We lost another pioneer.
Yeah, and I can't remember his last name, but
I think his last name was Gene.
Is it The Machine?
His first name's Gene. His last name's Gene, and his last name is the Machine.
The Dancing Machine. Yeah, Gene the Dancing Machine, who I believe I said on Facebook. I said, may angels pelt you with stuffed animals and garbage as you shuffle your way to heaven.
So if people don't know who Gene the Dancing Machine is,
shame on you. Kill yourself.
Exactly. Consult your local library or take a history class. Gene the Dancing Machine was a favorite on the short-lived Gong Show from the late 70s.
Exactly.
And I believe your wife posted a video that she found on YouTube of Gene the Dancing Machine, and it just warmed my heart and cockles and everything.
Well, the crazy thing, she was telling me about this, and when she saw it, and I had the first sort of, I had the same inclination. When I saw it, I was like, well, that's got to be a hoax. He died years ago.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. How did your wife know that Gene died? Is she on some telephone?
I forget exactly who mailed it or posted it to her, but so she Googled it or whatever, and on Wikipedia it says oh yeah, he died a couple days ago, but otherwise there were no stories about it, and which is really sad because
Andrew,
to people like you and me, he's a hero.
There's no room for stories in the news cycle when you have a dick transplant.
People were far too busy discussing whether a dress was blue and black or gold and white.
Shame on you, Internet.
That's right.
Yeah, and the clip that your wife posted, it's just this amazing. Gene just comes out and they just play crazy music,
right.
And he just goes out there and just really leaves it all out on the stage. And then they have these beautiful cutaways to Chuck Barris and like Jamie Faw and J.P. Morgan, and everybody's just totally coked out.
Right. I was going to say, like, they cut back to them backstage with a literal mountain of coke. They're just sticking their heads into it. Ah!
Oh, what I'm trying to say, people, it was a very special time.
It really was. He did so much cocaine that he became convinced that he was an FBI agent.
I have like people have asked me if I watch like America's Got Talent or American Idol or whatever, the View or the Voice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, there's only been one great talent show in television history, and it's called The Gong Show.
They made it already. Call me when someone puts on a paper bag and starts telling bad dick jokes.
That'd be great if you could infiltrate like American Idol and just be like, oh, now here's our next contestant, JJ the Dancing Machine.
Like what? Like here's two hot teenagers eating a popsicle.
Here's some college students pretending that they're baking in a pan. I also want to thank my mom for sharing the Barkast link on her Facebook page.
Well, a big shout out to all of your mom's friends.
Right, exactly. So now my mom and all of her friends can listen to you and I talk about dick transplants, amongst other subjects.
You forgot to mention at the beginning of the podcast the no mothers rule would be in effect.
Hey, no mothers.
No mothers.
So, Andrew.
That's one for Todd Glass. He'll enjoy that, being a big George Carlin fan.
I swear to Carlin. Swear to George Carlin.
Swear to George Carlin.
Andrew, what is your final analysis, Phil Giwanu, of this bar?
Wow. You know what? Like, having been to this bar many times over the years, I will say that the bar space itself and the selection of beers and whatnot have never been better, but the clientele has never been worse.
I mean, we are here on a Saturday afternoon after the St. Patrick's Day parade.
It's just going to get worse. People are going to start dropping cue sticks. You never know what's going to happen.
So I actually do like. I want to say that the way they run this bar. I honestly feel like that's the way you should run a bar.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I mean, like they don't have a full bar like liquor license.
Yeah,
so,
it's pretty simple.
But it's like they have like comfortable couches. They have the pool table. And one of the things that I actually give them credit for is like, using the bar to put up like local artists' work.
Yeah.
Okay. With that said,
they don't have what that was, a mannequin with a chainsaw and a bird cage or anything, but they do have like sort of clip art and stuff like that.
Okay. Now, with that said, I do think like that could like kind of give you a little more connection to the community where it's like you find like local artists and you put up their stuff and they can sell stuff if people like it. With that said, the art here is a fucking abortion. Oh my God.
Well, and let me just clarify. You don't mean that it's an actual fucking abortion.
No, that would be good. That would be good art. I'd pay for that.
That would be awesome.
But whatever. Like I said, this is how you should run it. And like you can't if you're reaching out to local artists and like
I feel like specifically the art that is like right around us. And I won't say the artist's name, but you know who you are. But like a lot of it strikes me as art that was made like for the purpose of meeting a deadline angrily, where you're like, oh really? I said that I'd give you some art. Well, here's like a fucking page out of the phone book with a picture of a bulldog over it. Now here's your fucking art. Like, now I'm probably giving it away. But
wasn't there one comic that said like when you're looking for a greeting card, and it's like it says something, it's kind of a shitty greeting card. Like your reaction is like, well, I could have said that. Like I'm not paying money for you to like write something as bad as I would say something. And I feel like some of the art here, it's like, no, I could do something that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
but like I said, like if you're reaching out to the local artist community, and that is a good thing, and you should be doing that. And that's how you should run your bar. But like if you say, hey, we'd love to put your local artist, I'd love to put your art up, and then they bring in the art, you're like, whoa, that sucks. Get out. I think it's kind of hard to like walk that back.
Right. Totally.
So
yeah, totally. I give
C+
for me overall. I think.
C+. Well, I'm gonna give it a strong B.
Strong B. All right.
Yeah, I like this bar. I mean, here's the thing. We're facing different directions. You're seeing like the fucking like the douchebag parade.
All right.
And I just see bad art that is not offending me.
Right.
And
it does make kind of a big difference.
Yeah, you know what? I wish they had 2 bathrooms.
There we go.
That's one thing.
Right.
But aside from that,
their second bathroom gets an F because it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Aside from that, the bartender is really nice. They play shitty music, but whatever. A lot of bars are like that. The beer selection's great, and the location's great. I have to say, of all the places down here in Hayes Valley, this is the place I would go to. Yeah, absolutely.
We actually had a couple other places in mind in Hayes Valley, to pull back the curtain for a second, but and this was probably the one that wasn't a total complete fuck fest as far as getting in.
Yeah, it's true. So, I mean, it's comfortable, and like you said, it's got a lot of room. So I'm going to give it a strong B, maybe a B+.
I knew we should have tried the bar that's called Fuck Fests.
Come on in to Shit Show, the bar.
Total fuck fest.
All right, so do you have anything else, man?
No, I think that'll do it.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's it for me as well. So next time you hear from me, hopefully I'll be back from Reno.
I was going to say, Godspeed through Reno and win lots of money. If we have a crazy audio setup next week, it's because your 4-way parlay came through.
Oh, absolutely, exactly. If I hit it
if the
big,
podcast sounds the same next week, that
or if it sounds worse, I had to sell a kidney.
Yeah, exactly.
It's but if it sounds if we come back next week and
we're just talking to our phones. Okay, all right.
If we come back next week and we're coming to you live via satellite, you'll know I hit it big.
That's right. Unless it's coming to you from the jail in Reno.
That's the good thing about being single with no kids.
Right.
It's if you come into some money, you could do stupid shit with it. It's if I had kids or a wife, I'd be oh man, I'm gonna put this for my kids' college education. Right. It's now I'm just hell no, I'm getting a walk-in humidor.
I thought you were going to say, since I just mentioned prison, I thought you were going to say the best part about not being in a relationship or having kids is I can go to prison for as long as I want.
No one will care. It's like a vacation for me.
That's right. All right.
This is SF Barkast. I'm Jeff Cleary.
I'm Andrew Louder.
And we'll see you next time.